got a secret underneath. Yeah, she's this naughty little freak. She likes to put on a show. She likes when it takes control.
Fake to Jacobs. Love. Touchdown Reed. Jaden Reed connects and leaps.
Jordan Love just throwing a dime out on the boundary. If he's 6 inches inside of this thing.
It's technically the third drive for the Dolphins against the Packers against the Dolphins defense. And on first down, Love will get it to Tucker Kraft, the tight end. Will get to the outside and get 9 yards.
Player form, and again, the physicality he's bringing to the team, making a difference.
Jump it on 3rd and 3 again. It's Kraft. He catches it. And Tucker Kraft goes to the 41-yard line. Second year out of South Dakota State. Go with both backs, Jacobs and Brooks. And Love reading it out. Fired with a flag down. Christian Watson has the grab inside the 20-yard line. Dolphins are saying it's offensive pass interference. 3rd and 2 for Green Bay. Fake to Jacobs. It's Reed. First down. Reed. Touchdown for the second time on this Thanksgiving night.
One after catch by this guy right here, Jaden Reed. He is electric with the ball in his hands.
Love's got the backfield empty. Backing up. Taking a shot. Kraft. First down and more. Tucker Kraft down the sideline. Here's the communication of 3rd and 6. Love. Sideline shot. Watson separates. Got it. Wasn't touched. So he gets all the yardage to the 26-yard line.
He's going to get man-to-man coverage. He's got Watson against Storm Duck. He's dying to get this ball out of his hands. He loves the matchup. It's a nice tight release by Watson. He lays it out there. Look at the separation. You said it at the top of the route, going to get that rock. A big-time vertical threat, making up for that drop last week.
And Melissa mentioned how he was itching to get back at it, and the trust there with Jordan Love. Second grab for Watson. This is Jacobs with a screen, with a convoy. Hit hard at the 15, but not brought down. That ended Miami's season last year. Love from the 30. Oh, just gets it. Half a beat to Dontavian Wicks. The Storm Duck. Come on,
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, right back at you. For the 16. Little blitz. Get the backside of it. And there goes Kraft. Right, South Dakota out. 32-yard line for the first down. And the motion, they're staying with the pass game here. Love plunges it, now checks it down. Josh Jacobs, oh, beautiful move by Jacobs. Wow, that was great. Terrell Dodson left him in the dust, and he comes back to finally get him 40 yards later. What a move by Jacobs on Dodson. Wow. Fake to Jacobs. Love. Touchdown Reed. Jaden Reed connects and leaps.
Jordan Love just throwing a dime out on the boundary. If he's 6 inches inside of this thing.
As mentioned tonight, concussion suffered last week. This is Jaden Reed, and they get involved a lot in the run game. His 13th run of the year. Still going to the 47-yard line. Big run for Reed.
What I love about this wide receiver core for Green Bay, a lot of different skill sets, and Jaden Reed is kind of the gadget guy. They hand him these fly sweeps, they throw him screens because he's so dynamic running with the ball. His run after catch as good as anybody. Get the rock in his hands and good things happen. I love this receiving core, a lot of different skills, a lot of different body types.
3rd and 2 for Green Bay. Fake to Jacobs. It's Reed. First down. Reed. Touchdown for the second time on this Thanksgiving night.
The run after catch by this guy right here, Jaden Reed. He is electric with the ball in his hand.
Kraft in motion. Here comes the pressure. Love runs away from it and throws. Reed held on.
3 rushers. Jordan Love laying it out. Look at Jaden Reed just stabbing that thing. 25 degrees here in Lambeau, just plucking it out of the sky. What a big-time throw and catch under pressure.
Why are you guys better equipped to handle this Detroit offense this time around than maybe the way it turned out the first time?
I mean, I thought we did a hell of a job the first time. So I wouldn't say that we're better equipped. I think we did a good job the first time. Obviously, they're a high-power offense and can put up a lot of points if you allow them to do so. But I thought we played well last game. I think we held them to 17 points. So we just gotta go out there and come out there with the same mindset and do what we did the last matchup and just do it better though this time.
Can you put too much on this game because you're trying to keep up with them in the North, or is that not possible to be like this? Or are you literally just treating it like any other game?
Nah. This game is important. I understand that. We understand that as a team. We got a tough division. As you can see, the Vikings won today again. And we are pretty much on the road. So, this game is going to be important for us moving forward towards the end of this thing. But, we're going to treat it as such, and we're just going to get ready and prepare the right way and be ready to go Sunday or Thursday.
We ask a lot about the emotional and physical toll when you're in this stretch of 3 games like this, mental, physical. How do you get that emotional juice going again a third time?
What you mean?
Well, we ask you about physically, we ask you about mentally, but emotionally you got to get fired up for a game as well.
Yeah.
How do you do that, or is that not a challenge because of what's on the line?
I don't think it's a challenge because of what's on the line. Like I said, we understand what's on the line, and regardless of this game, any other game, that's always going to be there every time we play. So that's kind of what we prepare for. That's we get our off days during the week, and then once we get to work, it's like, all right, let's go. So we kind of prepare and kind of ramp things up, getting ready for game day, and then once we get to game day, we already there, mentally, emotionally, physically.
So playing the way you did against that high-powered Detroit offense the first time, since then you guys have won 3 straight games. Did you build confidence off of that performance, even in a loss?
For sure. And I think even, coming off that bye week, we got a chance to just kind of settle down, rest our bodies a little bit. And then, we know what the mission was coming off the bye week. I had texted the guys as soon as we got on the bye week, and I was like, look, when we come back, let's win all of these games. So mentally, that's where we're at, and that's what we're trying to get accomplished. But we know we got to take it, one step at a time, one day at a time. And, we're going to work to try to accomplish that goal.
St. Brown had that Green Bay Sucks shirt last time. Is that just something silly, who cares, or is it something that kind of...
Yeah, I ain't worried about him. We're not worried about him.
How good are their running backs?
They got good running backs. They do a good job of putting them in certain situations too. Even the first time we played them, I think they played Montgomery the whole, first half. And then the second half, they came in with Gibbs. So they got a good 1-2 punch, and they got a real good running game.
How important, you always, obviously I know you guys always say NFC North games are important, but to stay in touch with Detroit, how do you avoid making it even too big of a game? Or is that not even a thing? It's just that big of a game?
Well, we're just going to go in there and take advantage of every opportunity we get. Since I've been a Packer, Detroit's been a thorn in my side personally. So I'd say every chance I get to play them and to beat them it's a chance I'm not going to take lightly. So I'm eager to play them every time.
You had a good game there last year. How big was that to kind of boost this offense down the stretch last season, and how can you kind of take from that?
Yeah, we just gotta come out and play our brand of football. We're a similar team in the fact that we all preach how hard we play, our play style, the downhill run and establishing the run. So we're too similar to the teams in the fact that we have a similar scheme, but we're going into their place and we're going to try to get things going early. That's the goal, and there's not a single guy in this locker room that doesn't believe in that.
Is there a difference in the confidence level you guys have right now than maybe what you did the first time you played them, based on what you've done the last couple of games?
Yeah, the first time we played them, we just kept beating ourselves. Like that, we had a third down. Jordan threw the ball to me. I had my hands turned to try to catch the ball inside. And when that happens, when you're not trying to catch the ball with proper fundamentals, you miss the field goal after that. So that's points off the board. When we should have converted on third down, we never should have had the kicking unit out there in the first place. So it's just it's all just domino effects of mistakes. So you make the least amount of mistakes, you win the game.
Flip side of that, how much is contagious when you're in a group of 7 of 8
Yeah,
games
exactly. Yeah, just staying ahead of the sticks and the guys just coming in and bringing the juice right away, getting opportunities to break tackles and get everybody going. That'll be important. Just kind of establish that. Where we want to play. We want to play with high energy. So getting started early will be our emphasis.
From what you've been able to see, how different do they look on defense the first time based on people they've lost?
I mean, it's the same scheme. They might change a front or two. They might bring less pressure just because they're worried about coverage on the back end. But relatively it's the same team. They have the same coordinators last time, so we're gonna see the same brand of football. But there's different guys there now. But just like before every snap, it's nameless, faceless opponent.
You mentioned starting fast, how key that is. You did that really well last year there. Is that even more important there to not get that place rocking?
Yeah, that's an important place to try to establish your offense early, and in an attempt to do that, also play with the lead, because then you don't have to. You're not getting to third and long situations. Ford Field gets loud, big rectangle. That place is, and then that's a place where the atmosphere thrives. Their defense will play good behind that. So we'd like to establish our offense as soon as we can. We don't have to use silent cadence. Hopefully we get some of their fans leaving early, like we did last Thanksgiving. So we're ready.
How's the body feel? This is about to be 3 games in 12 days. How are you feeling today?
I'm pretty fortunate, and our staff is taking care of us. So getting into the training room. Using the full lengths of our facility to get your recovery, and that'll be very important. But it feel pretty good.
Does it feel kind of weird coming into practice on Sunday?
You just got to pretend it's not Sunday. That's the easiest way to do it. It's just the third day of our work week.
Tucker, are you sensing the correlation between the momentum of you guys winning and just the overall vibe in this locker room and how that can help?
Oh, of course. Yeah, that'll translate everywhere. You get to a franchise and they don't. I mean, the locker room is almost always like this, because even when we are down, we're not emotionally down. The score doesn't oftentimes reflect the vibes of this locker room, and that's because of the culture of the Green Bay Packers. We know at the end of the day, we're going to come out all right. We just got to rely on each other.
We often ask about the mental and physical when you're playing these 3 games in 12 days, whatever. Emotionally, is there a difficulty in getting charged up again that many times in a short period of time, or is that natural?
Yes and no. I mean, you can, gloat around and complain and feel sorry about yourself for the way your body might feel, but when game day comes around, you got a choice to make. You can get up and go play, and things are going to hurt, or you can be upset about it and things are still going to hurt. So either way, your body's going to hurt. You got to play through it.
I was just talking with Josh about the
consistency of what you guys do before practice and stretching, the dynamic stuff. How does that compare? Is that just for practice and you keeping yourself healthy for the season is what you do beyond that? Or does that keep you healthy for the season too?
I mean, yeah, we go through pretty extensive warm up, but that's just to get us, fully activated. Leave no stone unturned when it comes to our bodies, and that's something, as much as we might complain about, having a real good lather going before practice even starts. Like it's for the benefit of us.
I was just talking with Josh about the difference going into Detroit this year than last year. Just from he said he kind of felt like you guys were fighting for your lives a year ago going into Detroit. How different does it feel going in 9-3 than it did a year ago?
Yeah, having some wins underneath our belt and stacking those wins, that'll be important to continue to carry that through even after Detroit. But our focus is always one game at a time. But having momentum going into a place, going in playing a team that has had the injuries that they've had, we're going to have to just take advantage and execute, one play at a time. Have the mindset to not get too ahead of ourselves. Start the game off that one play mindset, and even if things aren't going our way right away, just being able to react and respond.
Looking at the screens today?
Definitely. It was definitely a weird week, and it was weird to wake up and know that there's other football games today. So it doesn't feel like Sunday, but like I said, we're treating it like a Wednesday.
Jordan, do you think you guys are doing a better job with the pre-snap penalties? The only reason I ask is you're going into a really loud environment, probably the loudest one you faced this year. Early in the season, those false starts were killers. Do you feel like you're doing a better job with that? And are you guys good on the silent count this week?
Yeah, I do feel like we've gotten a lot better. I think to start the season, penalty numbers, all across the board were very high, and it's been something that we've tried to focus on as well. And I think we've done a better job as of late. But like you said, going into an away environment where we'll be using silent count, not having any pre-snap penalties would be huge.
Jordan, what do you remember from the first matchup you guys had with Detroit?
Yeah, I remember, Detroit's a good team. They're a good defense. They do a lot of good things. And I think, looking back at the film, a lot of stuff that we left out there, a lot of misplays, a lot of mistakes, and just, obviously not our best game. So a lot of stuff that we'll be looking to clean up going in this week.
Jordan, you've had the same starting offensive line 10 of the 11 games this year. That Detroit game was the only one where you didn't have the same group. To have that kind of a consistency, where does that pay off, do you think, for just having the same group week after week?
No, it's very huge, especially just in the O-line group. To have all those guys out there, especially doing what they're doing and playing at a high level like they are, is huge. And we always talk about, the healthiest teams are the best teams, I feel like. So obviously trying to keep everybody healthy is going to be huge. But up front, keep those guys healthy. We got 5 really good guys. And like you said, missed Josh in that first Detroit game. So I know he'll be looking to get out there.
So much of pass protection is obviously on you being able to get rid of the football. When you have the same continuity with your protection, your guys up front, is there a certain chemistry that you can get with just kind of internally knowing what the clock is and not knowing the time that you do have to get rid of it?
Yeah, no, I have a great feel with those guys blocking in front of me. And like I said, it just comes down to the chemistry you get with each other, knowing, Rashid and Zach asking me where I like to escape and things like that, where they're going to push defenders over the top or in front of my face, things like that. So those are all those little small things that just building that consistency and having those guys out there healthy, you can rely on. But yeah, just, at the end of the day, just having those guys blocking and straining the way that they do, I feel very comfortable behind them. So yeah.
How much has your lower half just feeling good and not being injured? How much has that been giving you kind of flexibility with the pass pro schemes?
With schemes, you're saying?
Yeah.
I think early on, right after injuries, we might have changed some of the stuff, just not doing as much, maybe under center, trying to just make sure I feel great and stay healthy throughout the game. But, I think pass pro, I don't think much has changed in the pass pro scheme, things like that. But like I said, those guys do a great job just in some of our base protections, just being able to keep me clean. So we'll continue to keep doing that.
What's the most important area you feel this team has gotten better since the first game with Detroit?
That's a good question. I think offensively, when you look at it, that's another game we struggled in the red zone. I feel like we were moving the ball pretty well and just struggled to put up those points. And obviously it's a good offense over there on the other side, so we struggle to keep matching those points. And so I think that's an area that we've improved on. I think obviously the pick six was a key changing point in that game. So keeping having great ball security is an area we've improved on as well. So that'll be a big factor going into this game.
Jordan, what's the key to road success? You won there last year. You won at Minnesota. You won at Dallas. Why have you guys been so good? And what's the key to making that happen?
Yeah, you just got to treat it like another game. I think obviously, it's going to be a loud environment, so you got to be able to handle that. And I think it starts with offense being able to get off on the snap count. We do a great job throughout the week of trying to emulate with the speakers and making it a loud environment, but just communicating in the huddle, everybody hearing the call, and just being able to communicate in a loud environment, I think is the biggest thing. But other than that, it's just another game. You kind of try and just block all that stuff out, but the noise of the crowd definitely is a factor.
Jordan, one of the common denominators in the wins he's talking about is indoors. And you guys want another indoor game this year in LA. I know you want to be built for here and the cold weather and all that stuff, but what makes you guys tough to defend on turf inside?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I don't know how much that plays a factor. Obviously, when you're indoors, you're not dealing with the elements, things like that. But, it's just another game. I think the indoor and all that stuff, we just got to go find a way to win. So, like you said, we've won a game in LA indoor, so I think it'll be the same. We got to go handle business.
How much Joseph made the big play in the last game and has a bunch of interceptions this season? From what you've been able to see in person, on tape, what is it that enables him to kind of be so effective in getting those big plays, those straight takeaways?
Yeah, Kirby's a ball hawk. He's playing the post for the most part, and he does a good job. And he has a really good range, can cover the field, does a good job playing the quarterback, and then he's just one of those guys who makes plays when the ball's in the air. He's another guy who you don't see him dropping a lot of plays. Similar to Xavier McKinney. So he's a ball hawk. He's going to make the plays when the ball's in the air. So he's definitely a guy you got to know where he's at.
Does it matter at all, Jordan, that this team is young as it is, that when you guys walk out of the tunnel on Thursday night over there, that guys are going to be like, all right, yeah, we won here last year, like in this building, this environment. Does that matter?
Yeah, you can lean on that, but I think no matter who it is, if we had a whole new team, guys be confident. We're confident every game we go into, and obviously, I think we have enough motivation having lost the first game to these guys. So, we owe them, and we'll be able to go put up a good fight in Detroit. But I'm confident that everybody's going to be ready for this game and
Jordan,
Thursday.
This is no slight on Carlson or Braden, but how much confidence does it give the team when you have a kicker like Brandon who's been doing this for a decade, that when he goes out there, you don't have much doubt that he's going to make it?
Definitely. We have a lot of confidence, and I think, since he's got here, he's just proven, who he is and what he's about. He's made some really big time kicks for us, and he's came in and taken over that role, and he's done a great job. So obviously, like you said, he's a vet. He's been around. He's made a lot of big time kicks and a lot of big time games. So I think it was just getting around him and getting to know him, which has been fun. But you look at last week's game, just having all those kicks, having the 2-minute drive before the half, to know that you got a guy who you just got to get into his range and he's going to put it through the uprights it's a good feeling to have.
Jordan, I know that the mentality is often one game at a time, but how much is momentum a factor? You guys have won 3 straight out of the bye week, and you're going into a hostile environment.
Yeah, momentum definitely plays a huge factor. Like you said, we're on a little bit of a win streak, so we want to keep that rolling. And there's definitely some good vibes going around the locker room right now. But like I said, whether we're on a lose streak or winning streak, we know what type of game this is, and it's an NFC North game, and we're I think 1-2 in the NFC North right now, so we got some catching up to do. So we're going to be ready to go.
Having said that, is this pretty much your last chance to stay in the hunt for a division crown? Losing this would be pretty difficult to come back from and win the division.
Yeah, we're ready to go get a win on Thursday.
Last year's game in Detroit was a bit of a breakout for you, obviously. What do you remember about that, and how important was that game for you at that time?
Yeah, last year was similar to this year. We had played them earlier in the year at home. We lost, and so we knew what type of team we were playing, and we were confident that we had to go in there and get a win. Similar situation, but I like the mindset we had last year, and I think we're going to take that same approach. That it's about us. We got to go in there, handle business, and we know they're a good team. But if we do what we are good at, if we just play our brand of football and just be consistent throughout the whole course of the game, good things will happen.
Did that change anything for you and your confidence being able to go in that type of environment against a really good team and playing the way you did?
Definitely. I think last year, we knew what type of team we had. Obviously, we hadn't been playing our best yet, and had lost some close games. But to be able to go in there, obviously a hostile environment, to a team we already lost to, a really good team last year as well, definitely gave us some confidence going forward.
Jordan, have you
gone back and looked at the first game against these guys already this week. We've already gone back and looked at the film. So when you're doing that, what are the things that you're looking at? What are you looking to see from rewatching it? What are you looking for?
You look at everything. You know, you look at the plays we ran, the coverages they run, the pressures they bring. A little bit of everything. You know, how certain guys you can attack. If we miss protection, things like that. Just little tips that'll help us going forward.
So do you look at yourself and how does the dude wearing 10 look different now than he did coming off the groin injury, still dealing with the knee? How different does the guy wearing number 10 look on that film versus how he feels today?
Yeah, like I said, it was coming off the injury, but I was confident going to that game. I felt decent going to that game. Obviously there was a lot of factors playing in that game with the rain, the elements, things like that. But I think at this point in the season, I'm definitely a little bit more healthy. So, I'll definitely be maybe a little bit different style of play out there, being able to extend plays more, things like that. But yeah.
So the reason I'm asking is because you talked about the vibe in here. I'm just wondering if some of that comes from the confidence of you being you again, and you can feel that around here, because I know you expect to be judged if you go out there regardless, but you weren't yourself the last time you played them, and now you are. Can you feel that from your teammates?
No, I think it's more everybody in this locker room. We're all playing at a high level, and at the end of the day, we talk about just control what you control, going out there, playing your part as a team. So, I think everybody as a collective is feeling good because we're winning. Guys are doing their job and guys are making plays. So I don't think it's just me. I think it takes everybody in this locker room.
What kind of similar theme? But when you watch their film with all the injuries they have, I mean, what are you looking at? I mean, it's totally different personnel. You expect the same defense wholesale changes because it's different personnel. What do you think?
No, you take all that into consideration. Look at our game. You go back and watch their game against the Bears last week, and just they got a couple new faces out there. A couple guys have been banged up, so some of the things they've done have changed a little bit. But I mean, you take all that. Every week there's so many different things defenses do, and they adjust week to week. So you gotta kind of just look at everything and see what their game plan might be for this week, and then obviously when we get out there Thursday, we'll make some in-game adjustments based on what they're doing.
When you're under center, you got Jay Reed in motion and Josh Jacobs behind you. Have you got a better chance of deceiving where the linebackers think the play's going to go, as opposed to when you're in the shotgun? I mean, could you talk about the differences between being under center and being in a shotgun and deceiving your opponent?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure exactly how a defense might look at that. They might look at it completely different. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely different snap points you do versus when you're under center versus when you're in the gun. So I think, it all just is decoy sometimes to disguise certain plays and make things look the same and just put that consternation on the defense. But I'm not really sure if, from a defense perspective, if gun versus under center changes some of those things.
Two more, Jordan, from the Josh running in with the plated turkey to all the wide receivers and the running backs. You guys doing that celebration where you pay, get money, and then motion toward a first down. It just seems like this team's having a lot of fun. How much have you seen that over these last couple of weeks, and how much can that impact the game coming up?
Yeah, I think I think winning is fun. So anytime you're winning and you're getting on a win streak, like I said, there's going to be good vibes in the locker room, and you want to keep that going. But it all starts with winning. So winning is fun.
Maybe the premise here is wrong, so if it is, let me know. But you like to throw the ball downfield, but you also got a bunch of yak guys. Does that help with the yak, that you can stretch the field vertically, just maybe give them an easier chance to pick up things? Does it kind of work together maybe?
Sorry, say that again.
Yeah, you like to throw it deep, so I would think that stretches the field vertically on the defense. But you have some yak guys too. Does it help those guys after the catch that you stretch the field vertically, so maybe it helps them after the catch?
Definitely.
Or am I wrong?
No, definitely.
Okay.
Pretty much what you said. When you're running guys deep, the defense has to respect that, and if they do, they're going to stay on top, and it's definitely going to create more room from the the second and third level. So that's when you can find those underneath guys, and you make one guy miss. Like you said, there's a lot of room between you and the next man. So it's kind of what we try and take advantage of on some of those plays is if they're not respecting the deep balls, we'll just take the underneath stuff and let these guys go eat.
Yesterday, guess what? It's a win. We don't ever ask for excuses. Lions are 11-1. Eagles, they're the 2 seed. They play the Ravens in Baltimore. How about that 3 seed, the Seahawks, quietly? NFC West leaders and the Falcons, the 4. But then we get to the wild cards. A 9-2 Vikings team. They play Arizona this weekend. A 9-3 Green Bay team, and Washington, despite their woes of late, are still in the wild card. But the Packers improved to 9-3, Jamie, with another home victory at Lambeau.
It's a really good looking NFC playoff picture. For the first time in NFL history, a division has 3 teams that have 9+ wins at Thanksgiving Day, and that's the NFC North. The Packers look great, the Lions, the Cowboys. Let's inspect Packers-Dolphins, though, from yesterday, Peter. Man, they continue to impress with this LaFleur coach team.
I liked it because Jason Garrett is on there, and I guess it's like late second quarter, and he's like, I think Matt LaFleur is the most underappreciated coach in the NFL, and I couldn't agree more. Forget the Aaron Rodgers transition into Jordan Love and all the drama that went into that and how successful last year was as a surprise. They had so much hype going into this season, and they have exceeded expectations when Love is on the field, despite him throwing all these interceptions early on. Last night was a showcase to the rest of the league. It was a showcase that, yeah, talk about Detroit and Philly and do your thing. We can do a thing also here. Tucker Kraft nailing guys there, banging his head into them, blowing his shoulder. We love that. And then, of course, the defense just suffocating Tua. Tua's numbers were good last night, but it's all empty calories because when it mattered, Green Bay stopped him every single time. This Green Bay offense is electric. If it's not Christian Watson, it's Jaden Reed. If it's not Jaden Reed, it's Kraft. If it's not Kraft, it's Josh Jacobs lowering his shoulder and getting the job done at the goal line. I picked the Packers to go to the Super Bowl before the season. I have never wavered. I still think they're going to do that. And I think the Lions, as promising as they've been, and the Eagles, how dominant they've been, I think they have a worthy opponent there in Green Bay. I think Green Bay can hang with those guys, both at home and on the road, as we saw them blow out the Cowboys in a playoff game last year and then give San Francisco everything they could for 60 minutes in the divisional round.
Packers Lions next week, Thursday Night Football. I mean, let's go. We're ready. We'll see it. I hope we get that game 3 times this year. We probably will get it 3 times. Packers Dolphins is a terrible game, guys. Terrible. It's absolutely awful game. I felt bad for the broadcasters and the network, but the Packers banged in a field goal right before halftime to go up 3 touchdowns. It's like warm up the buses, warm up the leftovers, whatever you want to do, watch a movie. And I just credit that all to the Packers. It's funny Peter referenced Matt LaFleur, and I know he was referenced on the broadcast. I was going to get up this morning and be like, how amazing is Matt LaFleur? Because I saw a nugget about LaFleur. We think we know he's good and he wins, and he went to Rodgers and he went to Love. Do you know in the first 6 seasons for a head coach, Matt LaFleur has more wins than Bill Cowher, Mike Holmgren, and Andy Reid? He's more wins than those guys. There's one coach ever, and it's George Seifert, who won the Super Bowl with the 49ers, who has more wins in his first 6 seasons than Matt LaFleur. LaFleur's amazing. And listen, he's got to cash one of these in. He's got to get to the Super Bowl at some point. But, I mean, he's so young, and Love is so young. It's all just so promising. I'm just very, very impressed with him. And I don't know how this is going to shake out in the North. We could all be sitting here, and the Lions and Packers are eliminated, and the Vikings are in the NFC title game. We don't know. I have very little to say about this game. I watched it through closed fingers. It was boring. The Dolphins can't play in the cold, I guess. Peter said finally Tua put us some stats. Is that going to end the storyline? Of course not.
No.
Of course. Next thing, they play anywhere that's even 59 degrees. And I'll bring up the shots of them in the cold. I would have really liked that storyline to go away. But the only thing that's going away right now is the 2024 Dolphins. Weird season. They're done. They're not making the playoffs. Time to talk about other teams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kyle, this storyline, this narrative, it continues. I know how much you love it. So we'll be talking about that cold stuff again and again and again until Tua proves us wrong. But I think, you talked about Matt LaFleur being young. This whole team is young. To me, that's why I'm so excited about this. When you look at the youngest team in the NFL, I looked at this and I say, they could be a formidable force in the NFC. And when I look at 2 spots, especially I look at Jaden Reed, and he showed up in critical situations. Now, when you look at the numbers, he's not going to have gaudy numbers in this game, but in critical situations, he gave you 2 touchdowns, and he's really showing his versatility in different ways. But I think it's his abilities to make play after the catch. He's got a knack for that, especially in that end zone area. What I noticed is that as they started to stack the box, trying to take Josh Jacobs' game out of it, what they started to do was go into some of those screen game. Obviously, you saw him on the carry as well. Sometimes that screen game can be an extension of the outside run if you're having problems getting on the outside. We know to do what Josh Jacobs could do. Josh Jacob, he showed up in a big way. We talked about them stacking up that box, and I loved how he showed up in the passing game as well. He is on pace to have a season like he had back in 2022 when he ran for 1,600 plus yards. Like, this is the type of level he's having. He's able to run in between the tackle, which is hard-nosed football. That's what you love when you're watching football. You just love the guys. Well, you know what? I don't have to be jiggy with it and get off to the outside. I'm going to run down the middle. They took that away, and he showed, don't forget, y'all tripping. Chill, right? He told the defense to pretty much chill. Y'all forgot that I got hands, and he showed that he had hands, so he showed up in the receiving game as well. But this team having that type of level with Josh Jacobs and Jaden Reed, don't be surprised if they upset somebody in that playoff and move deeper into the playoffs.
Yeah, I gave their GM, Brian Gutekunst, my game ball last week and might be deserving to double down on it again this week. You know, it's Thanksgiving Day. You got the volume. You're muting the game. You turn it back up. So you're kind of popping in and out of conversations from the NBC broadcast. And there was one defensive series for the Packers where Lucas Van Ness just, like, popped off the screen. And then they showed Gutekunst, and it was like, this man has orchestrated, and the Tirico and Jason Garrett talked about it, how Gutekunst has risen up through this Packers organization and maintained a culture that does not have a single owner. This culture of everybody owns this team, it's Green Bay's team, and the fact that Brian Gutekunst has drafted the way that he has, signed guys the way that he has, and maintained this type of team and picked that head coach to lead it is, I think, undersold. It's underappreciated. It's really amazing what is going on with the Packers. And just one drive, Lucas Van Ness, who I think, Peter, they mentioned on the broadcast, like, never started in college, comes and gets drafted by the Packers. And has he not started a game yet at that position? He just comes off the side of the field and is just like, no, I'll take down Tua once or twice if I have to.
He's been awesome. Where's number 90? And they have all these other guys that you're like, wait, he's on this team? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? They're loaded. They're loaded. They're young, as Akbar said. And I'm not just trying to lift heavy weights here. I honestly think not only is this regular season game a massive one against Detroit, I think they might see them again in the playoffs.